Hi, I'm Terry Hall, lead singer with the Specials. First track is, I think, one of my favourite bands from the whole two-tone era, which is The Beat. I think this song was originally a hit for Andy Williams. It's called Can't Get Used to Losing You. Next track is another two-tone related track by the band Dexys Midnight Runners. Although they didn't release a record on two-tone, we toured with them a lot in the early days, and they were such a great band. This song's called Dance Dance. Madness. There was always a really quite a healthy rivalry between us and Madness. We toured a lot together. First met them in the Hope and Anchor pub in London very, very early on, just as we were forming two-tone. From the two-tone era, this was a band from Birmingham. 76, 77 was a really, really brilliant period, especially being in the West Midlands, because the only bands that we had up there were like Black Sabbath and Slade, but all of a sudden bands were forming. The Beat, Dexys, us, the Selector, and this next band, UB40, was just amazing. This is a really brilliant track, I think from their first album. Next choice is the B-side to our very first single, Gangsters. It's by the Selector, before they were the Selector with Pauline Black, and at that point they were Neil Davis, who went on to form the Selector, and Brad, who went on to drum with the Specials. And when we wanted to release Gangsters, we needed a B-side, and they were friends, and they had this track. It's called Selector. Choice, it's got to be one of our songs really, because without this song and this record, two-tone wouldn't have happened. This was recorded in Coventry, I think 77, 78, I can't remember the date. This is Gangsters, which sort of kicked it all off.
What a night that was. I decided to go and see the Specials, my favourite band of all time, turned up at the Roundhouse. They weren't there, Simon.
Oh, where were they, Tim?
They were in Birmingham. I was a week early. Let's meet Terry Hall now.
Morning, Terry.
Hi, Tim.
I was there. I was going, honestly, I'm on the guest list. I'm like, because, you know, we got Terry on the show, and they kept looking at the guest list going, there's not... Frank Turner was playing, not the Specials. Morning, Frank, by the way. So, anyway, how are you?
Good news, Tim.
What?
This Thursday we're playing at the Roundhouse. We've organised, let's call him a carer. He's going to pick you up at 6:30. You're going to drop off at a garage about 7. He's going to get you a sandwich, orange juice. You'll be home by 11:30.
Fantastic. Thanks, Terry. I can't wait. You've got a new album out, Protest Songs, 1924 to 2012. Great album. I've been lucky enough to listen to it. Tell us about how this came about then.
Well, it was during lockdown, and we were getting really frustrated, so we decided to somehow make a record. Lynval came over from Seattle, and all we really wanted to do was get into a studio and be a band again. And the idea came about of doing a covers album of protest songs going back, I think, from 1924. So we picked a handful of songs and recorded them.
We were saying before the show that almost the Specials starting out, protest songs are fundamentally what you did. Is almost part of your genre.
I think it is. I think that's naturally what happens. We don't consider it too much. We just play songs and think of the songs that are relevant for the band.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting time. You're releasing songs back in the late 70s, and they all were talking about society in those days. Do you think much has changed since then? Because it seems like, I mean, obviously technology's changed and all those sort of things, but there's still a need for protest, isn't there?
Well, with the advent of technology, the internet, it's got a lot worse. A lot worse. Things escalate within seconds now. And it's not easy. Unfortunately, those problems still exist.
Do you think they're almost, because of that, then to do a band like the Specials, that
Very devastating news after the death of a renowned artist, Terry Hall, who was known for his dull image and sharp wit. The singer found fame in the 1970s and 80s with hits like Ghost Town, Gangsters, and Too Much Too Young. He left the Specials in 1981 to form Fanboy 3 with fellow bandmates Neville and Lynval Golding, scoring another run of hits. He was really talented and a top-classman. The singer died after a brief illness, the Special said in a statement. A heartfelt statement read, "Terry was a wonderful husband and father and one of the kindest, finest, and most genuine souls," they wrote. His music and his performances encapsulated the very essence of life, the joy, the pain, the humor, the fight for justice, but mostly the love. He will be deeply missed by all who knew and loved him, and leaves behind the gift of his remarkable music and profound humanity. In a separate message, Staple told the BBC he had learned of his friend's passing as he landed in Egypt for a holiday with his wife. A longtime friend father said, "It really hit me hard," he said. "We fronted the Specials and Fanboy 3 together, making history. Terry, he surely will be missed." The band asked for respect for Hall's family's privacy. No cause of death was shared. The musician was born in 1959 and raised in Coventry, where most of his family worked in the city's then booming car industry. But his life took a dark turn when, at the age of 12, he was kidnapped by a teacher But his life took a dark turn at the age of 12. He was kidnapped by a teacher. In one of the interviews, he said, "I was abducted, taken to France, and sexually abused for 4 days." He told The Spectator in 2019, and then punched in the face and left on the roadside. Hall said the incident left him with lifelong depression and caused him to drop out of education at the age of 14 after becoming addicted to the Valium he had been prescribed. "I didn't go to school. I didn't do anything. I just sat on my bed rocking for 8 months. Music was some form of solace," and Hall joined a local punk band called Squad, receiving his first writing credit on their single Red Alert. He was spotted by the Specials' Jerry Dammers, who recruited him as a frontman by deploying a terrible pun. He worked in a stamp shop. The musician told Mojo magazine, "I told him, philately will get you nowhere." After gaining a face-on-life reputation at home, the band rose to national prominence after Radio 1's John Peel played the debut single Gangsters on his show. The song, a tribute to Prince Buster's SK classic AI Capone, established the band and their local label to turn as a major force in British music. They were a multiracial group documenting the turbulent Thatcher years by playing songs directly indebted to Jamaican SK, a reggae style that remained popular in Britain's West Indian communities. But Hall, never one for hyperbole, said the band's success was almost an accidental, but a product of the punk movement. "We send our condolences to Hall's family, friends, and fans. Rest in Paul King."